So what's to follow now is kind of the slow process of fitting the axe head on, seeing where it's rubbing, shaving it off, on and on and on and on until we get the axe head seated down on the shoulder down here. So that's going to be kind of boring, so I'm going to move it along pretty quickly. And then we'll get to hanging it right after I hand sand the whole handle a little bit. And then probably make a nice leather mask for this thing too. We're getting somewhere, eh? Pretty close. There's like less than a half an inch left here for this to come and we want this to protrude just a little bit above the top of the head, just so that when we get the wedge in there it swells out really nice. The reason you want to really take your time at this, and I'm trying really hard not to clean the inside of the eye of the axe. It's really kind of rusted and rough, and I really don't want to clean that out too much, because it's just going to help grab the wood and get really good bite on it to keep the head from flying off. And that's also why you want to take your time and get this to fit really nice. You want to achieve as much contact between the wood and the metal as possible. So you don't want to have a whole bunch of space in there where the wood from the handle is not actually pressed against the inside of the eye from the axe head. So take your time, do it right, and maybe it won't fly off and hurt one of your buddies. Oh boy, it's looking good now. So I've got a quarter of an inch more to go before the wood is flush with the top of the axe head here. So I'm going to try to get down at least probably another half inch here. Give myself about a quarter inch at least sticking up above the top of the axe head. So it looks to me like I'm just getting down into where it starts to swell out a little bit here. So that's really good. Pretty decent fit so far. You can actually see in there where the bottom of the axe head is squeezing on the wood so much it's actually peeling parts of it off there. That's a very good indication of where you need to lose just a little bit of material. It is so close. So I'm really confident that the head's going to fit right down on the next go. So next thing to do is to cut the kerf into the top with the saw. As much work as I knew the rest of this this build was going to be, this is the part that I look forward to the least. Sorry, because just cutting straight down the grain with a handsaw is a lot of work. And then I'm going to hand sand the whole thing real quick. And then I'm not going to sand up around here just for the same reason as I'm not cleaning out the inside of the head. Just want lots of purchase, so as the rougher this can be, the better, to grab all that rustiness inside the of the axe head. So alright, all sanded up. This is 120. I'm happy with that. I'm not going to go any higher grit than that. Feels perfect. I also cut out a wedge from the offcut of one of these guys. So exact same piece of wood. It's going to shrink and swell at the exact same rate. Nice little piece of hickory wedge is going to be nice. So I'm going to hit a little bit of linseed oil on this guy. And then we will hang the head. My apologies, I'm just getting excited. We're going to hang it first, and then we'll oil the handle. I don't want to risk getting any oil up on this surface because you don't want anything slippery happening in there. The whole name of the game is getting some bite in there. And anything oily, obviously, does the opposite of that. So, got her lined up. Exactly the same orientation that I've been working it down with. It's looking good. So I guess I'm going to try this out. I've never hung a handle this way. They say you're supposed to get your axe head stuck on there pretty good, hold it upside down, and hit the base of the handle. The idea is the head of the axe has so much weight, it'll stay stationary for a moment while the handle is driven through it. And hopefully doesn't drive the head of the axe off and onto my toe. So here we go. Now I'm holding it kind of lightly because I want the handle to slip through my hand a little bit, because the idea is the handle's moving and the head is staying still. So wish me luck. So far so good. Like I say, normally I'll just take a nice rubber mallet, tap it on there pretty good. But this method seems to be working pretty nice. I'll see if I can get a shot of this. You can see here it's really tight. I got contact all the way around the base of the axe head there. Resting on the shoulder is really nice. You don't want to have any spaces in there, obviously. So I'll give it a few more whacks. I'm just starting to protrude a little bit there. I'm hoping to gain a little bit more than that, just so that it'll kind of mushroom at the top there. It'll just kind of spread out and really help to hold the head on there. So I'm going to get a few more whacks, and I'll let you know how she goes. Well, she's seated pretty nice. You might be able to tell there's a little bit of wood just kind of peeling out there. You can see just kind of peeling out on the shoulder there. That's what you want. That means it's seated down pretty hard. There's no gaps. It's looking good. I think I'm using a rubber mallet. I think a dead blow hammer would work better, because a lot of the energy from this guy is just hitting and bouncing back. You're really just getting half of the force that you're putting into it, or so. So yeah, I might have to make or acquire a dead blow hammer sometime in the future, but that worked good enough for this, so not so bad. Next is going to be placing the wedge in the top here. I'm going to have to trim this down a little bit. It's just a little bit long. I want the wedge to run the full length of the kerf, and so luckily this guy's too long. It's better than too short. And I'm going to put it in. I'm going to put some wood glue on there just to help it sit in there. Also, I think I've got one step wedge left right now, and it's really big. It's an old one. I'm not even sure where it's from. Picked it up from my dad's tool bench last time I was there, and it's a fatty. Give you a comparison here. Look at the size of that thing. Even if I put it in kind of on an angle, it's gonna go all the way across the head of the axe. So I don't know what that thing's from, but some huge mallet, maybe like a big sledgehammer. So I'll hang on to that one for now, and maybe pick up some smaller step wedges. I'd kind of like to go without. It'd be nice to just have just the big wooden wedge in there, glued in, holding it together. But we'll see how it goes. Pretty nice. Boiled linseed oil. This stuff is great. I guess it's got some stuff in it that's not so good for you. So I'm wearing gloves for this one because it's such a big piece. This stuff's great. It'll protect wood. It doesn't leave like a varnish on it, like a shiny plasticky varnish. coat on the outside, which is you don't want. A lot of tools you'll find with wooden handles, they'll come with varnish all over them. They'll have that shiny, shellacky kind of finish, and that's just gonna give you blisters. You don't want that, and it takes away from the natural feel of a wooden handle, which is kind of a lot of the point of having a wooden handle in the first place. But this stuff will just soak in. You can reapply it lots of times if you want, or just a few times. It's recommended to do it like what do they say? Once a day for a week, once a week for a month, and once a month for a year, or something like that, and then once a year after that. It's kind of an easy way to remember it, but really, anytime I pick up one of my tools and it's feeling a little bit dry, it makes a difference. You can tell the difference if the wood's dry or not, or if it's well protected. But this stuff will just soak right in, and it doesn't rub off, and it doesn't hurt your hands. And it doesn't hurt to get it on the metal too. Why not? It's just oil. It's just going to protect it from rusting. Doesn't hurt. Why not? Get it right up inside as much as you can. I'm going to do the end to end grain. As with anything else, it just soaks up tons of it, which is awesome. I treat the wooden handles of a lot of my knives with this stuff as well. It does a great job. Leaves lots of that natural wood finish on the handle of the knife, which I really like. And yeah, it doesn't really change the color of the wood. It doesn't dye it at all. If anything, it just brings out sort of the natural hues and tones of it. This guy's just about there. And then all it's left to do is a final hone. Since I'm going to make a leather mask for this, I'll probably wait until I'm done messing around with the axe head and the leather until I really sharpen it up. I learned a few too many times with knife making to sharpen the knife when you're done working with it. But this guy is looking tight now. Feels good with the weight of the head on it. That handle feels really nice. So you can leave it for, sometimes I'll leave them for 10-15 minutes or so, just to let that wood kind of soak right in. Then you take a rag and just kind of wipe any of the excess off. If you put a lot on, like if you really soak it in there, which is what I like to do, then you could have a little bit of residue left over from it once this stuff dries. So it's good to give it a wipe and get rid of any of that first, and then it'll dry just like a regular, it'll just feel like normal wood, but just better. So there it is. Made a mask for it. All done. Thanks for watching.